Thanks for joining me. I want to share a quote and two poems by Matthew Zapruder. They were shared with me by my dear friend and fellow poet, Sean Sutherland. So thank you, Sean, for sharing these with me. They're beautiful. So the first is the quote. In Wallace Stevens' essay, The Noble Rider and the Sound of Words, he makes the argument that poetry is a place where we can preserve imaginations and resist the pressure of the real. That is, the incessant drumming in of information, of news, of terrible events and realities. If we do not do so, he argues, we lose something essential to our humanity, our imagination. So the first poem, Zapruder poem, is Poem for Passengers. Like all strangers who temporarily find themselves moving in the same direction, we look out the window without really seeing or down at our phones, trying to catch the dying signal. Then the famous lonesome whistle so many singers have sung about blows, and our bodies shudder. Soon we will pick up speed and pass the abandoned factories there has lately been so much conversation about. Through broken windows they stare, asking us to decide, but we fall asleep next to each other, riding into the tunnel, sharing without knowing the same dream. In it, we are carrying something, an empty casket, somehow so heavy, only together we can carry it, over a bridge, in the snow. Emerging suddenly into the night, we wake and open our laptops or a book about murder or a glossy magazine. Though we are mostly awake, part of us still goes on solving problems so great they cannot be named. Even once we have reached our destination and disembark into whatever weather, for a long time there is a compartment within us filled with analog silence. Inside us, the dream goes on and on. The other poem is called Tunnel Park. 80 years ago, during those famous dark times, when the government paid men to build bridges and dams, they carved this park my son loves out of a hill. The men needed to keep working to get paid, so they made a long, dangerous concrete slide. Kids screamed down, their parents watching with their hands over their mouths. Then dug this unnecessary cool aperture full of obscure aperture, shadows through the hillside to the garden of famous roses I don't care about. And finally, some secret stairs, no matter how many times we have found, always seem like they were forever waiting only for us. My son and I went upward. His red shirt kept disappearing into the shadows. I became tired from pointless worry, so we sat on one stone step and shared some blue water. Through the leaves, we could see a giant, crumbling pastel house. It once was grand. Its dark windows still looked down on everything. It was so quiet, I could hear the message everyone knows. Worse times are coming. Who isn't afraid? Only the dead. We went farther. The stairs never ended. We had to turn back to our lives, knowing there is mystery even in the new world. Thank you, Sean. Also, while I was reading, I think Che might have been snoring a little bit, so sorry about that. But she's just sleeping here next to me. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, take care.